Right. Hello, everybody. Here we go. Here's my cup of tea. Hello,
Ooh.
everyone. Okay, we have a new interview this weekend. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, and we have one of the beautiful people from Integrity Martial Arts, Mr. Philip Nourse. Here he is. Look at him. Look at him there with the eyebrows going. Okay.
Hello, hello.
um, Me and Phil have I've always thought that we've got on really, really well, and we have. I've always thought I've got a connection with you, sir. With in the fact that my father was in the Navy, and obviously very proud. And if I get a little bit emotional about it, it's because he's still in my thoughts. Um, and that's what I always wanted to be. I wanted to be a naval person, and I know you had a big career in the Navy. So, do you mind telling everyone about that, please?
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I was a chef in the Royal Navy from 1985 to 1990, so it was fairly short-lived, but I really enjoyed it. I served on a couple of Type 21 frigates, Alacrity and Avenger, and an aircraft carrier, Invincible, and
Wow.
also a little brief stint on the Royal Yacht for a couple of weeks, just to help them out in 1986. As a young chef, only been in the Navy a year.
So, what? So, where were the ships based? Was that in Pompey or in Plymouth, sir?
The Type 21s, the small frigates with only like a couple of hundred people on, they were both based in Plymouth, but Invincible was based in Portsmouth.
Mm,
Big,
mm.
big 20,000 ton chunk of metal, which is quite tiny compared to the latest two that are 65,000 tons. So as you can imagine, there's quite a big difference there.
My God. So, how many people would have been? How many chefs would you? Let's say on the frigates. I can't remember the names you said. Sorry, but the
Yes, sir.
frigates. How many ratings and sailors and officers would have been on the
Uh,
frigate?
in total on a frigate, I think that I can't remember totally, but about 150, 180
Right.
on a frigate as compared to an aircraft carrier when that's fully loaded with air crew and all the people that need to be on board to look after the aircraft. Near 2,000.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's quite a big jump. And there's probably half a dozen chefs on the frigate, and there's a couple of messes of 18 chefs. So that's 36 plus petty officers and chief cooks and that sort of thing. So it gives you an idea of the difference in scale of the cookery.
So what was the longest time you were away on board?
Probably about 4 months. We went out to the States and we were out there for Christmas, and we came back about February time. We sort of went via that was on Invincible. Went out for about 4 months ago, 4 months or so, and that was a really good trip via Barbados and Puerto Rico. So
did,
and
did, did you get to go offshore?
sorry to go ashore.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, we had a good kind of week in both places, and then we were alongside for Christmas in the States. So we did the States trip, and we shanghaied a US sailor from USS Saratoga because he lived in Hawaii, and it was too far to go for him to go home for Christmas. So he said, "Come with us, and we'll get you trolleyed and go to Disney World." So that's what we did.
I bet you got so many funny stories from back in your day.
There's quite a few, sir, but sadly none are broadcastable at this junction.
Good man, that's it. Think of the children. Well,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll gloss over that, sir. We'll gloss over
okay,
that.
all right, okay. If we skim over that one. But do
Yeah.
you think, on a serious note, do you think, again, I worship my dad. I absolutely adored the ground he walked on, and it wasn't just because of his naval career. I mean, he
No,
was a fleet chief. I think I spoke to you. He was a fleet chief
that's right. Yeah.
on board the Ark Royal and Hermes, and then the Ark Royal, which was before Invincible. I think Invincible took over from the Ark Royal, didn't it?
Um, yeah. He was probably on the old Ark Royal, wasn't he? Because
Yeah,
there was a
that's
newer
right.
Ark
Yeah, because
Royal
it's a brand
afterwards.
new one now. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. funny enough, the Hermes was in dry dock when I was in HMS Drake, because it was being refurbished to be sold to the Indian Navy. So, you know, your dad's ship was in when I was there, and it was so massive it could only just fit in one of the dry docks with the huge bow coming over the side of the dock. It was an absolute monster of a ship.
Yes, that's right.
You know.
I remember going. I don't know where my dad had been. He'd been somewhere, and I hadn't seen him for like 7 or 8 months. He'd been away in Hong Kong or Far East and what have Singapore. And I remember coming back, and they used to do in those days. They used to do family days where they would dock, and then you would go and stay, and you could go on board the ship. I was so excited. It was mid-70s. I was 13, 14, and my mum took me down, and we stayed, and I was just so excited to go on board the ship. It was just huge. But that was the Ark Royal. But I think Ark Royal was just about as big as the Hermes, if not.
I think about the same. So yeah. Did you actually go out to sea on it?
No. Well, I said we didn't go out to sea. They just went out towards, I can't remember. I mean, I'm like ancient, so I can't remember.
Just out in the bay and turn around and come back.
And they had aircraft fly by. They put on some, in those days it was Phantoms and Buccaneers and stuff like that. So
excellent. Oh, that's real. That's when we had a fleet, sir. That was back in the kind of heyday of the Royal Navy.
Yes, that's right.
I caught the kind of tail end of that, and then now it's been sort of cut back. Although we've got a couple more aircraft carriers now, so a bit more of a kind of world player again.
Yeah,
albeit on a bit of a budget.
Yeah. So why the Navy, sir, not RAF or the Army? Why?
I think I just wanted to travel around a bit, and I thought if I'm in, I didn't fancy the Army because I didn't want to dress up like a tree and sleep in a puddle, So I didn't fancy that. And RAF, I thought, well, I'll probably be stuck on an airbase for years on end and won't actually go anywhere. So I thought, well, my dad was in the Merchant Navy, and so was my uncle, and he said, you get to travel around a bit if you're in one of the forces. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. But I found out very quickly I get very seasick. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't stay in too long, because even on an aircraft carrier, that's why they put me on the aircraft carrier, to try and help cure my seasickness. But I was still as sick as a dog, which is not really good when the counter shutter goes up and someone says, "Oh, what do you recommend, chef?" and you're being sick into one of the, into the corner sort of thing, trying to recommend the day's special. Like, it's not very conducive to a good menu.
So do you still keep in touch with a lot of your old Navy buddies?
Yes, yeah. There is a chef's reunion every year where we meet up and get highly trolleyed and talk tall stories, and raise usually a couple of grand for some Navy charities. There's one of which a veteran's assistance dog, like a guide dog, but for people with post-traumatic stress and all the rest of it. There is they're hoping to try and raise some money, because we can't meet up this year because of COVID, because we haven't already. About April, May time we normally meet up. They try and raise a few quid and make a bit of a difference there, as well as remembering people who sadly crossed over the bar, as it were.
Yeah. Well, I've always
contact the least half the people out of my mess on Invincible. I'm still contact the least half of them, and that's a good dozen people. So yeah. That's good.
What I always admire about the forces, whether it be the Navy or the Army or the RAF, is the camaraderie. The camaraderie is amazing.
Absolutely.
The humour is amazing, but it's their willingness to accept that someday your mates aren't going to be with you anymore, and I find that. I'm not sure I could have, I say, I wanted to be in the Navy and I wanted to be like my dad. I don't know if I'd have the bottle to do it. I really don't. Because that's incredible. The inner strength that you guys had and still have in your case is phenomenal. And I take my hat off, my hat off to you.
Thank you, sir. No, that means a lot. I mean, you could have done it, sir, because I thought when we initially met, I thought you were an ex-serviceman. because you had the kind of way about you of an ex-serviceman. So I thought you were perhaps, Army, Navy, Air Force, or something like that. I didn't know which, but I thought you. But now I know you've got a connection with it. So
Yeah.
by your dad,
Mm.
you'd have smashed it, sir. No doubt about it.
To make the old
And
fella proud, bless him.
I know it's one of those things that you kind of wish you had done, but I know that you've made a big difference to a lot of people in what you're doing now. So, in the big scheme of things, I think you've done the right thing.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind. It's very kind, sir. Now, your lovely son is also a chef, isn't he? So did Sam ever show any willingness to join the forces, or what was that?
I think he thought about it at one point, and I said, look, if you're going to join anything, join the Navy, because you're going to travel about and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I think he was looking at trying to improve his career in catering and see where that went. So I think he fleetingly thought about it, but didn't fancy it really.
Because you've got another son, haven't you, sir? Is it Ben?
That's right. So yeah, Ben. Yeah. He's a bit of a historian. He's got a history degree at King's College London.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's just done his master's degree now. I think he's just doing his dissertation now for distance learning at home. So yeah, he's completely different than Sam. They're chalk and cheese, but both lovely lads. Hello, Sam. By the way, love your son. They're both very different, but both very decent gentlemen. And I'm so glad how they're getting on in life. They're brilliant lads.
Yeah. Because again, this is another thing that I find that I've got this connection with you in that you say that Sam and Ben are like chalk and cheese. Me and my brother are like chalk and cheese. Yeah, I mean, you've never met him. I don't think any of the Integrity crew have ever met him.
No, you mentioned him, haven't you, sir?
And they would be like shocked by how different we are. How do you put that down? Because most.
That's natural selection, I think, sir. I think because I think so. Because if two people, father and mother, the same sort of offspring all the time, then nothing would get done. It would just be duplicates, and I think it's all built in nature.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
The same DNA is coming from the mum and dad. You have to sort of alter it slightly, because otherwise you'll have duplicates of the same thing all the time, and then things will go wrong, I think.
So I've got to ask you this. No, go on.
Sorry.
No, go on. What were you going to say?
I said, that's my theory, sir, but what do I know? I cut carrots for a living.
Right, that brings me to my next question. Where do you get your legendary sense of humour from? Because, come on, you're the funniest man I think I've ever met in my whole life. And
bless you, sir.
And I mean that as a compliment. I don't mean it as, oh, look at that guy.
I know you do, sir.
Really,
that's very kind. I don't know. I've just always been a bit of a silly sausage, I've always seen the silly side of things. I don't know, because life can be really, really drastic sometimes, can't it?
Yeah.
And I always think back to there were some guys on the ship sinking in the Falklands on the bow of the ship as it was going down. All they could do was sing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" because they had nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. What could they do apart from just take the mick out of the situation they're in?
You see, that's what I'm so impressed with, people's mindset. When faced with the ultimate adversity. They just burst out into song. That's just incredible. I'm so in awe of that in people. Wow.
I think because the situation is so horrendous, the only thing you can do to change it is by taking the mick out of it.
Yeah.
And the situation we're in at the moment, it's very easy to get bogged down in that. But you've got to, that's why I try and post up some silly little things here and there just to try and give people a tiny little grin. And if it does, then I'm really happy because it's just made that little bit of difference. So.
I was going to ask you about that, sir, because I mean, it's been 5 weeks? 5 weeks, isn't it? What's that like compared to 4 or 5 months away on board? I don't suppose you can say it's the same. I mean, you don't see your family, and I guess in the 90s, you still had email and you had text. I mean, when my dad was on board, I might get a postcard every 3 months.
Yeah. Well,
And that was
I
it.
came out of the Navy in 1990. I came out of the Navy in 1990. So there was no mobiles. There was no internet yet. There was no email.
So
So it
you
was
would have
all
been the same
purely,
as my dad then. You would have written
exactly,
letters.
exactly, letters or phone calls. And, you know, we thought we were high tech when we had a phone card on the ship, you know, and you could sort of plug it in and, wow, I can phone home. Wow, this is amazing. You know, and you have to sort of stand in line behind a load of other people, and whoever got there first got there, you know. It's quite embarrassing. You know, it's quite funny hearing some people sort of saying, "No, I'm not going to tell you I love you. It's embarrassing," you know, in front of everybody else. You know what I mean? Go on, tell you love her. Go on, you know. You know, so it was quite low tech, and I remember being at sea and getting a letter from my dad saying that my grandmother had passed away, and that was quite difficult, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Sort of help through that. You know? So,
yeah. Well, that's the other connection we have. I think is that, you know, we're both big guys, but I think deep down we're both real softies as well.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I don't mind being that. I'd rather be that than a nasty piece of work.
Yeah.
And I think you're like me, sir. You try and say it as it is, and don't want the people to waste your time or you to waste their time.
Yes.
And just keep it real. And just
Yeah,
keep it
that's
real.
right.
You know, because
So
time is finite, isn't it?
yeah, no, of course it is. Crikey. Yeah, I mean, you know, over the last 5 weeks, we've been doing lots of things. Well, I've been doing lots of thinking about, you know, people that I care about and all that sort of stuff. And you
I
know,
think it's brought things into focus, hasn't it, sir?
mm, mm,
Now, what
mm,
is actually important? What is real to us? You
mm,
know, and we're all being put through the ringer a bit now, and it's it's, some people it shows their mettle. Some people are rising to the challenge, like that lovely old gent who wandered around in
mm.
his, you know, he made what 20 million, something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
Captain Tom, 22
Captain Tom,
million.
yeah,
That's incredible, isn't it?
incredible, yeah. I heard he's off on a jet to Bali with all the money, so you know he'd be all right, wouldn't
But again, but again, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, but that's the military mind, isn't it? Do you know one of my favourite pictures? I sent this to my daughter when my father passed away. Was that I'll have to send it to you. There's a picture of an old boy in the army, and he's by the cenotaph, and he's
he? Oh
all
yeah, I've seen it.
crunched up. He's all crunched. It's a sunny, beautiful sunny day. He's all crunched up, and there's the shadow of the sun, and the shadow is him as a 19-year-old lad, you know, with his rifle. Because
Yes,
once
sir.
you're in the military, that's it. You're always, you know, that mindset is always with you, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You do get change. Oh, I'm a civvy on paper, but I'll never be a civvy in my mind because that's not who I am. You know, you do change. They change you from being a civilian into what they want. You know, you become a product of what they want you to be to do your role within whatever force you happen to be in. And it is all about the teamwork. That's why I like what we do, because we all help each other. We all encourage. It's all about the team, which is 100% what I'm all about. And
Yeah,
I really, you know, like integrity because that's exactly what it's all about.
well, that brings me around to the next question, sir, which is why martial arts? You obviously came out of the Navy. You had your family. I presume you had your family after. Yeah, it must have been.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, yeah. I was a single man while I was in the Navy. I didn't
Yes.
meet my ex-wife till 1990. So
Right.
the
Yeah.
year I
Yeah.
came out of the Navy.
So
But
why did you get into martial arts then, sir?
I sort of dabbled in it a bit in the past. I mean, you know, when I was with my wife and we're all a family unit, we all trained together, which was quite nice. And then that sort of tailed off a bit. And then now I've gone my own way, and time was ticking by. And I'm thinking, "Crikey, I'm going to be 50 soon, and I need to do something with myself to sort of get out of the house, get fitter, learn something new, and sort of socialise with people, and just try something new."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. And then we started off with Mr. Winton, and me and Sam quickly realised this is a bit too technical for us. So we realised that you do kickboxing. So we came to your class, sir.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, you know. And so Mr. Winton, he had a long break to the next belt. So he thought
Mm. You're breaking up a little bit there, sir. I can't quite hear you. I'm not
Can
sure.
you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, can I hear me now? Yes,
Can
I
you
can.
hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Go down from there now.
So you kind of touched on it a little bit there. So what's your favourite aspect of martial art training, of kickboxing?
There's many actually. I really like to see how Sam is progressing because he's doing really well and wants to instruct and everything like that. And everybody speaks so highly of him. No matter where I've gone, I've been to Miss Endersby's class on occasion, where I don't go that often, and everybody speaks highly of him there. Everybody speaks highly of him in Poole, or Bournemouth as it is now. That's for me is one of the really good things, and he's been really supportive to me. You know, and also as you get to be a senior grade, you can sort of help people who are new to it as well, and help them and help nurture their skills. People like Phil, you know, Phil Squared. Come on, Phil.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, you broke up a little bit there, sir. So what goals do you have within your training?
Well, I want to get a black belt, sir. I mean, you know, we're quite a long way towards that now. After 3.5 years, and I just want to carry on helping nurture other people as well. I think, sir. I don't know what else to say really. I'm enjoying it as it is. You know, I enjoy seeing people and socialising with everybody and speaking to them about their lives and how their training's going and helping them. And yeah, that's the whole thing. Really.
Do you know what I mean? I ask this question to everybody, and I'm sure they all go, "Oh well, I'll say what I think people want to hear." And I'm not suggesting that's what you're saying at all, but how proud of yourself are you? Really, and be honest. You know, to have achieved the level that you've achieved, which for anyone that doesn't know, Phil is 2 grades away from being a black belt. Okay, so he's quite, as you said, a long way down the track. But how you must be really proud. I'm certainly really proud of you. Okay, so you must be proud of yourself.
I am proud of myself, and I mean the last grading was a tough one, but I think I brought everything. I didn't have anything left. That I brought everything I could, and which is what you want to see. You want to see, does that person really want to get the black belt? And the brown belt white stripe is the probably the teller for you whether this person wants to really go for it or not. And at the end of it, at the end of the sparring, I had less than 0 in the tank. It was all gone. Which is, and some of that I kind of revert back to my basic training. You go into a different mindset for a little while. You kind of distance yourself from the pain you're in. But I am proud of how I've done. And you know, sometimes I surprise myself. So thank you for everything you've done to help make that happen.
You're a flexible friend, aren't you? You're Phil, my flexible friend. But you're a really, really good kicker. Really good kicker.
Thank you, sir.
Really flexible. Have you always been like that? Have you always been bendy and stretchy and stuff?
I don't think so, really.
Oh, you broke up again there.
Longer, really.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's when you jiggle around a little bit, sir. I think you jiggle around a little bit, and the microphone goes a bit funny. All right.
Okay, sorry, sir.
No, that's all right.
I don't really know if I've always been that flexible, because I've never really done martial arts till later on. Not seriously, till sort of in this stage of my life, really. But
the other bits of flexibility have been alcohol induced, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, now, before I let you go, sir, I cannot let you go. I cannot. It is impossible to let you go without you entertaining the troops with a couple of your legendary one-liners, sir. Come on. Come on.
I can only think of one off the top
Go
of
on,
my
then.
head,
Go
sir.
on, go on.
I went to this pet shop and said, "Excuse me, mate, can I have one of your pet wasps, please?" He said, "Sorry, mate, we don't sell wasps." So we got one in the window.
Class. Absolute genius. It's been really lovely talking to you, sir. Fantastic conversation. You jiggled around again there. I didn't get that bit.
Sorry, sir. I'm saying missing you, sir. I'm missing everybody else, and a big hello to everybody.
Great, sir. Thank you ever so much. And we hope to, as I've said to everybody, we hope to see you in person, physically, to show everyone's appreciation when we all meet up together again. As Vera Lynn says, what's the song? How's it go? We'll meet again.
We'll meet again.
There we go.
Don't know where. Don't know
Don't
where.
know when. Take care, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.